We're back to give you the legal edge. With the Trump administration targeting late-night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel and other comedians, the First Amendment is being talked about everywhere. But what does it protect and not protect? Here's local attorney Brian Waldman to explain.
The First Amendment is there to protect certain fundamental rights of individuals from government interference or government limitations. And when we're talking about the First Amendment, we are talking about freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, and in particular, freedom of speech that criticizes the government. But again, it applies so that people aren't limited by governmental interference. It applies to the government. It doesn't apply to private entities. It doesn't apply to private companies. It doesn't limit the action of private employers. Now, there are other laws that could limit the action of private employers, but most of us are what is known as at-will employees. We can be terminated, we can be punished, we can be disciplined for any reason, as long as that reason doesn't otherwise violate the law, like discriminating, firing someone based on a disability, based on their religion, or based on their race. Now, if the employer is a government entity, say the state of Michigan or the federal government or some local government, then yes, the First Amendment applies and this speech is protected from interference by your employer. But that still doesn't mean that all speech is protected. The First Amendment right to freedom of speech is not an absolute right. Not all speech is protected. For example, speech that is intended to incite violence is not protected. And in certain cases, including speech to incite violence, the government and government entities can take actions to limit that speech.